So as Alex mentioned, a lot of the motivation for this is, well, it's a frequent question we always get asked is, what should I do? Um, and the answer is it depends, because it depends at what stage you're at as to what things you should focus on. So what we really want to try and answer today is, where are you on your drone journey, in the framework that we've formulated? Now, not everyone is going to perfectly fit into the framework, because everyone's different, every journey's different. But we think you'll see some sort of common elements you can relate to, and that will give you a sense of where you're at. So, enough talking about it. Let's see it. So the 5 stages that we've come up with is it's essentially the 5 S's. So starting out, seeking improvement, standardizing, scaling, and sustaining. So there's a lot that can go on in these different stages to give you a sense of what it means. In essence, that the number of drones and pilots will increase as you move up through the stages. That's not explicitly required. So, for example, you could be a small company that's actually quite sophisticated, but typically what happens is you get up to stage 4 and 5, and you're at sort of the tens, if not hundreds of drones. Likewise, what tends to happen is the amount of flying you do will increase as you get more and more sophisticated. The complexity increases. So typically starting out, sub 2 kilo drones, very small ones, just doing line of sight operations, and then moving up to larger drones beyond line of sight, etc. And then this in turn increases the value that it delivers to the company. So doing a lot more things, a lot more complicated things. And the integration into the company's operations also increases over time. So, it might start out as one person doing something in one department, and then eventually goes into, it's deeply integrated into everything the organization does. It's part of the organization's goals and objectives. And then with that brings other challenges around management and oversight. So you've got all this cool drone stuff going on, management find out about it. They're like, okay, we now need to put some systems in place. So the complexity of those systems also tends to increase as you go through the stages. So sort of, to summarize, if you had to put, a couple of words against each of these stages, stage 1, typically just straight up, just trying to validate a use case. Stage 2, you're just trying to learn, typically as much as you can about, what's best practice, what's the compliance like. 3 is typically you're trying to drive consistency across all your operations. 4, you've now got a lot of operations, so you want to make them as efficient as possible. And then 5, you've now done all this good work, getting everything set up. How do you keep it in place? So that's kind of a really rough overview of the way we've set up this particular framework.